Dave Biggers with Op4 Tactical. Today we're going to be talking about the Aimpoint Patrol Rifle Optic and exactly what you're going to get when you receive this and how to put it on your rifle and get it into operation. When you open the box, it's going to have the handy dandy instruction manual. I do actually advise you to read this. I know we're men, we don't do that, but read the manual. It'll save you a lot of problems later on. Lots of padding. This is a little reminder that's going to fit inside of your front cover, and that shows the date that you put your battery in, so it'll remind you. Now, battery life on these is about 3 years on the number 7 setting, which is 3 from the very brightest. And that's generally pretty bright, and once again, that's 3 years at room temperature. So you can turn this on, you can leave it on, consult back to when you did that. As long as you change your battery within that 3-year period, you're going to be fine. You never have to worry about the battery dying on you. So we open this up. We got a couple of different things here. We've got the battery that hasn't been installed yet. The spacer on this is designed to be used with the M4 AR-15 version of the rifle. And what they've done is, this is also available to be used on the H&K 416. The H&K 416, because of the op rod system, actually has a taller rail that fits above the bore line. So if you're using a 416, you remove this spacer, it sets this down, and that's what the different screws are that come in there as well. But this is already assembled to be used on an AR-15 or an M4, and you also have the hex wrench to be able to pull those out. That's what that's there for. If you're using, again, an AR-15 or an M4, you don't need to worry about the spacer or removing that. You're going to be just fine the way you are. So this is what all we've got in the box. You've got your lens covers front and rear. And you've got your mount. We've got our battery. We've got our Aimpoint Pro, the front cover. I'm going to remove that. And it's tethered on, so it takes a little bit of work. But the tether's on here. Make sure that you don't lose these caps when you get out in the field. Now, the easy way to do this, you're actually going to see where you've got the little lip there. That's going to go inside the optic, but what I'll do to make this easier, I want to actually set it in the cap, and then I'll just screw this in. Get it good and snug so it seals. Dial this, make sure it's on. And we're good. Put it on the rifle. This is an M&P 15, it's clear. We've got the bolt lock to the rear. Find a place where I want this. The big thing is I want to make sure that when I drop the lens cover, it's going to clear the rear side if I've got it on there. So for this particular purpose, I'm going to put it right about up here. But you see I've got a lot of room. Loosen this. I'm holding it on the bottom side. When it clears, there we go. Make sure that I'm on, got the rail grabbed. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to tighten this till it clicks twice. Once I've done that, I'm good and torqued. This will prevent me from over torquing and damaging my receiver. It'll also ensure that I've got a good solid mount. After I've taken it out and done my initial 0, I may come back and click it one more time just to check and see if it didn't move around. But typically 2 clicks, you're going to be fine and you can't over torque this. Okay, next we're going to talk about zeroing the Aimpoint Pro on your rifle. If you already have iron sights that are zeroed, you can really speed up the process by zeroing the dot according to the way that your sights are. Save you some time. I'd still want to reconfirm once I get out to the range, but that's going to get me very close right up front. So I mount the optic, I look through my sights, I see where I am in relation to that, and if I'm adjusting elevation, it's simply the top screws. Each click on this represents a 1/2 inch of movement at 100 yards or 1/2 MOA. So if I want to move it a full inch, I'm going to need 2 clicks. 1/2 inch, only a single click. What we're going to do on this, if you can see, counterclockwise is going to move the point of impact up. Clockwise is going to move point of impact down. I'm going to dial it up or down until I co-witness with my front and rear sights. I can do exactly the same thing for windage on the side. Right, I want to move it right, counterclockwise. I want to move it left, I'm going to turn it clockwise. I can just use a quarter, dime, something like that. It's actually a recessed cut, so it works with a circular coin. You don't really need to use a flat blade screwdriver. In fact, that'll even give you less contact. They're very easy to adjust and easy to go. As they come from the factory, the dot's actually centered up in the middle of the optic, so you're probably not going to have to make a whole lot of adjustments. A couple of things to be aware of. You don't necessarily have to have iron sights to run one of these optics. They've got a really long battery life. They're very rugged and reliable. However, there is a good reason for having a front sight post on the rifle. At longer distances, it's very easy to be unaware that you're counting the rifle, and you can start throwing your shots off to one side or the other and not even being aware of it. So having a front sight post that you can see is a good thing, particularly at longer ranges, say beyond 200-300 yards. Another tip that I've got for you, one of the nice things about the Pro is the fact that the rear cover is clear and the front cover is opaque. You can use this to your benefit. If you're attempting to run one of these and it's a low light building, you're going to want to turn the dot down. But if you have to step outside, it's bright light, you're not going to be able to see the dot. So what I actually do, I use the fact that I've got a clear cover in the back and I've got an opaque cover in the front. I'll turn the dot down to where I can barely see it, but I keep both covers closed, so I use it as an occluded gun sight. So in my house, if it's dark, it's the middle of the night, I can run it exactly the way it is, or I can flip up the front cover and the rear cover, and that's no problem. But if it's bright outside and I've got it dimmed down, I leave the covers in the down position. I use it both eyes open, use it as an occluded gun sight. I've still got the dot, I can still see my target. I haven't had to adjust anything. Another tip, when you're using the Aimpoint Pro optic, the lens covers, typically the way that they come is so they can be flipped up in an upward position. This actually can limit some of your situational awareness, because now not only are you looking around the optic, you've also blocked off some of this sight line. By rotating these 180 degrees, I haven't given anything up. Still got everything protected, but now this is down out of my line of sight. So now I don't have as much around the optic.